Christmas Day 2012. Little bit of snow on the ground, much like today. I always liked the snow on the ground, especially on Christmas. And that year, it was really important because it took some of the sting out of the minds being wrong about the end of the world, and that later that day I was going to have to finally do my Christmas shopping. But my daughter Kim was home from college that day, and she was sleeping in on Christmas Day, as all good kids do. So that's the day I just take my dog Buddy out for a little bit longer walk than usual. So I remember walking him through the neighborhood, and then I come up, and I purposely go a little bit past our usual route so we can look up into the foothills in the Rock Rimmon area and just stare at the snow. And that snow looked much more beautiful than I had ever seen. Because 6 months earlier, the same foothills were aglow in orange when triple-digit temperatures, double-digit winds, and single-digit humidity combined to send the Waldo Canyon fire down our particular way. So I just stood there a little extra admiring the beauty and thinking back about 6 months. And soon after that, I thought back that, June was a very transformal month, a lot of transitions, but I realized the biggest transition I saw in my family, I didn't realize on that Christmas Day. So we'll go back to June 2012. Big day, my daughter Kim graduated from high school. So my parents were out and they kind of said, traveling's get a little tough. This is probably going to be the last time we come out and visit you. So it was a little hard to take, but what softened it was knowing a couple weeks later, I was heading back to Michigan, where I grew up, because my daughter had decided to go to Western Michigan University, and she was doing college orientation, going through, getting set up in that. And it worked out well because she picked the orientation right before Father's Day. So we went to the orientation, and I'm sitting there thinking, wow, I got a college-age daughter, and she's sleeping off in the dorms with all these people. But I trusted her, so I felt pretty good about that, and I realized how much I trusted her that night. But after orientation was done, she went to Illinois to visit one of her grade school friends, and I went down to visit my parents, which were just on the other side of the state. And I thought it was great because I got one more Father's Day back home with my dad. So I'm spending the weekend there. We don't have much planned. It's a Saturday, day before Father's Day. My mom, my dad, and I are sitting around the dining room table having lunch. And my mom starts speaking a little funny, a little strange. So we suddenly think, okay, this could be a big medical issue. So I immediately look over to my father, who'd always been the strength, the leader of the family. I looked at him. I saw a little bit of panic in his eyes. First time I'd ever seen it. This is the man who's always been in charge. When we were out on the boat, the engine dies. He says, jump in the water, get the rope, swing us back to the dock. He's just a man of action. I'm a good swimmer, so I could do it. But I'm just still in that mode, expecting to be that. I say a panicked look. I realized at that time, I had to step up to be somewhat in his place, to get everything, get all the medical paper together, the purses, get everything together. So we got my mom to the hospital. Good news, it was just a scare, nothing serious with my mom. But I do remember as we were sitting in the emergency room, in the room waiting for the doctor and the tests, as my mom was doing much, much better, my dad took out his cell phone, went to call my brother. And so he called my brother Steve, and as it rings, I hear it pick up. And I don't hear my brother Steve's voice, but I hear my brother Steve's youngest son, my nephew Eric, answer. And I don't talk too much, but I could tell it was him. And said, can I talk to Steve, is what my dad said. I hear the voice on Eric, sorry, you have a wrong number. Now, I know there was some conflict between my dad and my nephew, but I also remember growing up, we would never pull a stunt like that. So I kind of backed up a little bit because I know if I would have tried something like that growing up, I wouldn't be here today. That's the truth. So, very strict father. So I'm just kind of standing back, waiting for an explosion, anger to come out. And I was surprised my dad just closed his phone to hang up, opened up the phone again, called, got a hold of my brother, and told him what was happening, and everything was there. So I know I should have been concerned more about my mom at the time, but I was amazed by the change that I saw in my dad, how calm he had reacted. So it's going through and go through. So next day, Father's Day, get to celebrate Father's Day with my dad and fly back to Colorado. A few days later, my daughter Kim returns from Illinois as she had been out. We get home. She gets home Friday. The Saturday, the Waldo Canyon fire breaks out. So we're listening to the news, and I say, let's get a few things together just in case we have to evacuate. I moved here from Mississippi, so we knew about packing for hurricanes. Figured the same, packing for wildfires, just fire versus water. So we had everything packed, and we're going through. Saturday, we got it packed. Sunday, we got it packed. Monday, I get home from work. My daughter Kim says, Dad, can we start unpacking this stuff? Now, you got to remember, she had gone to college orientation, visited a friend for over a week, and then gets home, has to pack stuff up. She'd been living out of boxes and suitcases for about 2 weeks, getting tired of it. I say, I think things are pretty good. Let's go ahead and unpack. That was Monday night. Tuesday comes around, and I'm driving home from work. I remember driving down Vindicator, looking to the south, nice clear skies. Looking to the north, where our house was, orange clouds, smoke billowing through. Not a good sign. So I make it home. My daughter was off watching a movie, Who to Spend the End of the World with her friend Courtney, oddly enough. So I just go through, I kind of walk the dog because I know he needs to walk. And I remember walking around, turning on the corner and seeing the flames rolling down. And my neighbors just standing there, mesmerized by the flames. And that's when it hit me how bad it really was. So I start tapping my neighbors on the shoulder. Hey, let's get going. Start packing your stuff. You're going to have to get out. Let's start packing, getting your stuff. We're going to have to get out. Getting everybody up there. So I get back, pack pretty much the essentials that we need. My daughter was off at the movie, which I know, so I got a text from her when she was out of the movie. I said, come right home, make sure you do it, just focus on the road, because she'd be a little panicked with everybody going the opposite way. So she's going through there, get home, she's got to pack up her clothes. So I say, okay, pack what you need for about a week. So we're going through, and I mentioned I'm from Michigan, Detroit Red Wings fan. My daughter decided to rebel by being a Chicago Blackhawks fan. Still hurts. So we're down there packing stuff. She goes up, pulls a Chicago Blackhawks jersey out, and says, Dad, can I take it? Do you need it? Dad, can I take it? Do you need it? Dad, can I take it? Put it in the bag, let's go, because I realized even though I was right, the fact that we would die in the basement really didn't do much good. So I said, okay, pack it, so we go. So we're going. She's driving her car. I'm driving my car. We're driving out. We go to her friend's Courtney's house, make it there. So we get there Tuesday night, kind of settle in. And it hits me. A week and a half ago, I spent the last night in my boyhood home because the house was getting a bit much for my parents. And they were looking to sell and downsize. And now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to move back into the house I've been living in for the last 8 years. So kind of challenging situation, different in there, just going through. So we go through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday rolls around, get home from work, fire's pretty much done. They're saying, we think we're going to let people move back tomorrow. So I say, you know what, let's just relax this night, be good, be calm, pack up the stuff, head home tomorrow. I have cousins that live in Parker, and they said, if you need anything, you can come up. So I'm home Friday night, and my daughter, who had been spending most time with Courtney's 4 sisters, and her 3 cousins that were visiting, came to me and said, Dad, let's go out to Parker. And I say, but, we're probably going to go home tomorrow. We're doing really good here. Let's just stay here. Said, no, Dad, let's go. So I could tell being around the 7 sisters she suddenly picked was getting to her. I say, okay, let's go. So we pack up. Both of us drive up the 45 minutes to Parker. What we didn't know is that my cousin's daughter and her husband were spending the weekend there at their house with their 2 kids and all the cats. We got a dog who's never been around cats before. So my daughter's like, Dad, we need to get out of here. It's like, wait, we had a nice place. You want to leave now? So I just calmly walk away, start checking on the internet saying, I wonder if we can go back. found out they were opening up rock climbing and say, okay, let's go, let's move back, because I just wanted to sit down and relax. So we both pack up, we're heading down I-25. Come down I-25, we're in El Paso County. We get up, and off to the right, I can see the fires up on Blodgett Peak. Just a little bit of fires here. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to get a phone call, and I got to tell her how stupid it was that we left two perfectly good places to drive back to the fires. But it hit me back to how my dad reacted to my nephew on the phone. So when I got the call from my daughter, he said, Dad, should we worry about those fires? No, they just sometimes set fires to burn out the fuel and control them so the fire doesn't go through further. Rationalization is a good parenting skill. So I go through and do it, and I just realized at that time, well, I didn't realize at that time, but I made a big transformation, set aside all the anger and my desires, and learned to be calm, to react to the situation. And I want to state the obvious here, that I've learned the value of being calm. Really learned it from my dad earlier in June 2012. And the fact that I can be calm in very stressful situations has served me well.